Well, okay. I've seen you guys what you've been asking me on the comment section. Hey, Joseph, is the economy crashing? Oh, kindly make a video, tell us. Should we go ahead and invest? Should we withdraw money? What's happening? Is it crashing? Should we stay put? What should we know? What should we update us? Is everything okay? You know, there are news saying that, hey, we're experiencing a global, what you call a global recession. Some people are predicting that 2025 going to be a global crisis or something of sort. Yes, I know right now, but they are making this video on the 2nd of November. And in 3 days, we're going to have an election in the US, okay, where we're going to know who's going to win in that, okay? And of course, I know you are seated there in Kayole, or you are seated there in Soweto in South Africa, or you are seated there in Makoko Island in Nigeria, or you are there in Maputo in Mozambique, or somewhere in your Lilongwe, Zimbabwe. Lilongwe is where? Is in Malawi, or you're there in Lusaka, or wherever you're watching me and you're like, I don't care, whatever happens in the US does not affect us. Oh, who told you that? It affects you. Whoever becomes the president of the US affects everybody in the world, including you where you are. So is the economy crashing, by the way? Fine. Well, I ain't going to answer that question in a form of yes or no, but I'm going to give ultimately that answer at the end of this video. But before we do that, how about go ahead and hit that like button. Make sure that you put that notification bell and make sure that you subscribe if you have not subscribed. Yeah, I'm waiting for you to go ahead and hit that like button. But it does not cost you any. But when you guys ignore like button, come on, just hit it. Good. Now, see, is the economy crashing? So first of all, what is a economy crashing? Okay, fine. Economy crashing simply means like economy is not functioning well, it is not growing. You see, we are used to, by the way, I'm not going to use economical terms and whatever. I'm going to use a layman's language so that you understand, okay? Because I'm not the suited guy who's coming and tell you, oh, no, the GDP is, no. No. See, when you say that the economy is crashing, we simply mean like, you know what? It's actually reflected by people don't have money in their pocket. Maybe that's the simplest language. People in business are saying, oh, business is not there, it's not selling. Actually, their revenue has actually gone down. You know what? And the things to buy out there become expensive. You find like a loaf of bread, the price maybe, let's say, has increased maybe, let's say, by 20% or something of sort. Or maybe you realize that the number of jobs that have been created in that particular financial year is actually going down. So, and then you realize that the country itself, in terms of the GDP or the economy, it is not growing. Are we together? Because we use some parameters to define whether the economy is growing. There's something called the GDP, you know? It means everything that goes on in that country, whatever they sell, they buy, and whatever in combination, okay? I ain't gonna go to those technicalities. So when they usually say it goes, you know, the country economy has grown by 10%, by 2%. Kenya has been growing by at a average rate of 5%. Yeah, I know Kenyans will crucify me if I say the country's economy has been growing by the rate of 5% for the last 10 years, yeah? It's actually has been growing steady, except 2020. When was the COVID actually really hit people? 2020. Yeah, I think that's where we experienced a recession. No, we actually grew by 1%, if I'm not wrong. Most of the country actually grew by, is it grew even? There was some recession even by -5. Okay. So anyway, the point is, are we experiencing that? Well, if you're a Kenyan, there's something that I want you to identify. There are some things that have actually changed, and I want you to be very keen. I do buy onions anyway. I'm not married, so I cook myself, so I know everything about that. So you find the 1 kilo of onion, 1 kg of onion was actually costing around 180 shilling. That's like $1.8. No, not even 1.8, $1.4, 1 kilo of bulb onion. Right now, the 1 kilo of bulb onion, believe you not, maybe it's where I live, believe you not, we even have the one that is costing for as little as 40 shillings. That is like 35 cents. How do you write cents in US? Less than $1, less than, as little as that. So it's actually gone down from 180 all the way to 140. I do believe there was a lot of production. By the way, in this year, Kenya is actually, you know, we had what am I gonna say? The farming did good. So we have a lot of good harvest. Let me say that. Because even if you look the price of packet of flour, maize flour, it's called maize flour, not flour. You find like it was around 220, around there. Right now we are talking about 100 or 110 thereabout or something, like half of that. So anyway, by the way, as we speak right now, in Kenya, we have an inflation of 3.6%, way below what government had predicted of 4.8%. By the way, I don't work for government. We don't even shake hands, okay? Now, the point is 3.6% inflation. Well, in Africa, I mean, this is quite of a good inflation. That's the reality. But now the question is this: how about the financial markets? What happening? Why is the MMF going down? Why are the treasury bills and the treasury bonds going down? Why are the interest going down? They are going down because there is things that I explained to you earlier. You find the CBK was trying to lower the rates and what have you. So generally, are we experiencing, economy crashing? Well, I would say we are not really at good times when it comes to the economies, especially bearing in mind that we're gonna have an election in the US for like few days from today. Again, I said I'm making this video on 2nd of November. So you find like we cannot, see, most of the people are not even investing right now. They are kind of, withholding. People don't want to do that because they don't know who's gonna be the president, because politics affects a lot of economies. Are we together? And of course, when America coughs, everyone catches the cold because they're the global leader. Anyway, come on. Let's just give a credit where it's due anyway. Okay? Now, the thing is, right now, I won't really frame it as the economy is crashing. I would simply say we are not really experiencing good times. They are not really friendly when it comes to the businesses. Our microeconomy is actually complaining in some of the businesses. And this one is actually can be witnessed. By the way, if you would like to know whether the economy is doing good, always ask people who work from the banks or work in the banks. They will tell you in Kenya right now as we speak, we have a lot of NPLs. Do you know what are NPLs? NPLs, these are non-performing loans. We have a lot of non-performing loans, meaning people are unable to pay their loans. And especially find some of these guys took this loan that was unsecured. So of course that particular bank is on crisis because see, there was no securities and something of sort. So this NPL simply signifies that businesses are not doing good, and you find because people are not able to pay back the money that they borrowed. And let's say, for example, you're selling, say, this kind of shirts, and of course you had borrowed money to import, let's say, from whatever you import, or you buy from whatever the company that you buy, and then of course you anticipated you're gonna sell a lot of them, you pay back the company or pay back the bank and get your cash and such. So you realize the business is not, the things are not even moving as they are supposed to do, but then you're supposed to pay back. So of course I was having a lot of conversation with some of the guys who are working the banks, and NPLs are quite of a thing right now as we speak in Kenya. So they're looking way or how the government can actually do what we call, I don't know whether they're gonna do what we call the quantitative easing. I don't know, because also that one comes with a little bit of problems because maybe it makes the inflation to shoot and what have you. So I'm trying to avoid those big terms so I don't confuse you along the way. So I won't really say the economy is crashing, but I would say we are not living at good times in terms of the economies, in terms of the business in here. For some people are doing good. Let me tell you one thing. It depends on who you ask. For me, I don't love to say things are not good. I love to say things are good, even if they are not. Just having that hope, telling yourself what you confess you possess. So I would say this is the best time to invest. For those who are asking, should we invest? Should we withdraw money? Should we stay away from the investment? What should we do? This is the best time to get yourself fully into it, because whenever you feel or hear people are complaining about recession, economies, what they call it as, contracting, you hear about the businesses, that is the time to acquire some of the things. Go check out the wealthy people. This is the time they actually go there and buy things because the demand is low. And remember one thing, the moment you realize that people do not have a lot of money to spend, because let me say, if you want to know the economy also is crashing, you actually check the behaviors of the middle incomers. I was actually in these big malls, in Kenya. And if I want to know whether there is money, I usually go to these big malls. I just sit down, I walk around, I look the way people are behaving. Are people window shopping? Are people actually shopping? And by the way, are they even there in the first place? I've actually realized the middle incomers are not spending their money, because those are the people who will take their kids to, let's say, swimming. Those are the people who will take their kids, let's say, to those bouncing castles. These are the people who grab that particular pizza somewhere. These are the people who will go for those nice and wonderful manicure, pedicure, and whatever. Those are the people who spend. And the moment the middle incomers don't spend their money, then there is no trickle down. And if there is no trickle down, of course, it means there will be less money. And if there is less money, of course, you usually cut off those things that are not necessary, and you concentrate on the basic things like the food, the shelter, and the clothing, and of course the school fees. So you find other things, maybe let's say you're selling luxury things and what have you, you might still have the people who are buying it because of course you're targeting the wealthy people. But if you're selling things that are not for the wealthy people, neither are they for those guys who are low, they are just somewhere, you find people are not buying those things. It's kind of something called the marginal propensity to save. It's something we learned there in economies and whatever. So you find people are concentrating much on other things that are so vital. But when they have a little bit of surplus or the excess, that is what they direct towards other things. Okay. So yeah, maybe probably that's the reason why you find people are not really into, people are not really into buying those things. So that's why people are complaining that the economy is crashing and all those kind of things. But I always tell people it's always good to know that before the economy crashes, there are some of the signs, there are stages that you'll actually see. You actually start realizing the government is actually delaying the salaries. So the moment you hear a teacher, maybe you live with your teacher surrounding somewhere, ask them, is your salary in time? You realize the salaries are not being in time. The civil servants actually complaining about 2 months before you are paid or something of sort. Number two, you realize the country is actually complaining about we are unable to service the loans. We have actually hit the loan debt ceiling. And then, by the way, this with the oppositions. Yeah, those are the people who actually, they are sort of like the whistleblowers. They tell you what is going on. Then after hearing those kind of things, the government, of course, will come to defend themselves. There is nothing like that, but that will always be reflected on the what on the what do you call it? The normal economy is just down here. The moment you realize there's those kind of, sometimes you take your time and go to a bank and see how many people are there being the bank closed one of the branches somewhere. Of course, those are the question marks. You should be asking yourself what's happening. Where are not even people showing on you just go to the ATMs and see how many people are queuing. There's some of those microscopic things that you can ignore and they mean a lot. And then you go to these simple people like who sells, in Kenya we call them the mamambogas. Go to these people who sell these things that ought to be must be bought each and every day, like the groceries, the vegetables, the whatever. And then you see the kind of way people are behaving. Go to the butcheries where people buy meat and what have you. Because of course here in Kenya, meat is a big thing. And you find when people are paid, they usually buy those things. So you ask yourself, what are they spending on and what have you? So those are the things that actually tell you, economy is not really doing good. And those are the time to know, hey, I won't invest on this, I will invest on that, I will do the other thing. But this issue of people saying that this is not the best time to start a business, I don't love to buy those kind of ideas. Because if it's not the best time, why are they not even closing the first time? Always stay put, stay put. Of course, I'm not telling you go withdraw your cash and start a business the best time because Good Joseph said, no, of course, done your research, okay? But don't just go and press that panic button anyhowly, because somebody said somewhere. It's always good to, and of course, by God's grace, I'll try the best as I can to grab as much information as it is. The moment I realize something fishy in the world of the finances and what, I'll always come here and share with you, all right? Because guys, guess what? You guys gave me a target, or what should you say? You gave me a role. I read a lot. By God's grace, I go read a lot and make sure that I come here, I can authenticate the information that I'm sharing here. But of course, I'm not perfect. There's some of the things that I've omitted on this video you could have expected me to talk about. But hey, here we are. We are here to learn. So the next video, I'm going to post much about it. So anyway, that's why I tell you, go ahead and subscribe so that you'll be notified whenever I upload a new good video. This is Good Joseph speaking, and see you in the next one. And if you'd like to get my services in one way or the other, where to invest and how, my number is always on the description of this specific video. See you there.